We have an update in a sick case of a babysitter accused of sexually assaulting a toddler. Here is Victoria Cranmer in a New Jersey courtroom this week. Investigators say she allegedly kept a video of the awful incident on her phone, and she was laughing as she took it. I will warn you, the details of this story are not easy to hear, and yet there are now questions about whether a plea deal.
A judge in a New Jersey courtroom looked at the facts of a case and used one word: troubling. But based on what's in the court records, that word might be a massive understatement. This is the story of a babysitter, a 14-second video saved on her phone, and a legal system now quietly asking whether a plea deal could let her walk away from the most serious charges.
About whether a plea deal is a possibility. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to True Crime Court, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence.
This case of this babysitter now in jail for just a horrific crime. You just can't imagine it if all of this is true. The judge called the case troubling at a last court hearing. And based on what we've been told about this case, troubling.
Picture a phone given as a birthday gift, returned without a passcode. Inside that phone, a video, not buried in a hidden folder, not deleted, saved. And on that video, a 2-year-old boy, still in diapers, standing next to his babysitter while she laughed. The video was 14 seconds long, but for the people who have seen it, those 14 seconds will never leave them.
Maybe a massive understatement. Now, this is Victoria Cranmer, the babysitter we're talking about, in a New Jersey courtroom this week. She did not appear to show much emotion as she stood for a hearing, and it only lasted a couple of minutes. She has been in the Ocean County Jail since her arrest last month. And even though this hearing was brief, there was a line that has caught people's attention about the possibility that this case could end in a plea deal. Now, we'll get to that in just a moment, but I want to bring you up to speed on what authorities say happened and how we got to this
paperwork already knew.
Again,
that's the phrase that keeps coming back. The paperwork already knew. Because when the phone was returned, when the video was found, when the mother noticed her son had stopped liking bath time, the system started moving. But it didn't move fast. The video was taken on May 6th. The investigation began on May 20th. The arrest didn't happen until July 8th. 2 months between a video and an arrest.
Again, I'm going to warn you, I can't warn you enough about how disturbing the details are to this story. But let's go back to when this investigation started, which was on May 20th. And that is when the New Jersey Division of Child Protection and Permanency contacted police in Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey, which they're a group that investigates concerns about child abuse and neglect in New Jersey. A woman is identified in court records only as Miss P, and she was the one who allegedly came forward claiming that she found this very disturbing video on Victoria Cranmer's phone, specifically on her Snapchat. And she said that video showed Cranmer, a babysitter, sexually abusing a child.
The accused is Victoria Cranmer, a babysitter who, according to court records, had been living with a woman identified only as Miss P for about 3 months. When the relationship soared, Miss P asked for the phone back. She got it. No passcode. And inside, she found something that would forever be seared into your mind. The video showed Cranmer, naked from the waist down, sitting on a toilet, while the toddler touched her. And on that video, you can hear her laughing.
In diapers.
The victim is a 2-year-old juvenile.
Now, that is video from a previous court hearing per the Asbury Park Press. Cranmer reportedly lived with Miss P and her child for about 3 months. During Cranmer's stay, Miss P bought her a phone, and this phone was a birthday present according to court records. Now, the relationship between Cranmer and Miss P seems to have gone south. Court records state that Miss P ordered Cranmer to leave the home because she was having issues with her mental health. We don't really know much more about that at this point. And not only did Miss P order Cranmer out of the house, she said she wanted the phone back. And when she got the phone back, that phone did not have a
Now, the
passcode
defense
on
has
it.
tried
So
to frame this
court documents show
differently.
Miss P goes into the phone
In a previous
and
court
finds
hearing, a public defender argued that children often have little appreciation for personal space, that they follow adults into bathrooms, that they touch things out of curiosity. The lawyer even suggested the video might have been recorded because the moment seemed memorable or humorous. The video, the defense said, had been blown out of proportion.
phone and finds the kind of video saved to Cranmer's Snapchat, allegedly, that would forever be seared into your mind.
One of those videos was a 14-second video clip taken while inside the bathroom at the child's residence. The video showed the defendant naked from at least the waist down, sitting on the toilet, while the 2-year-old juvenile stood next to the defendant.
Prosecutors say Cranmer is heard on this video,
but the judge didn't see it that way.
Young boy,
the judge called the defense's argument bizarre. Now, not bizarre because the child went into the bathroom. Bizarre because Cranmer did nothing to stop it. She laughed, she giggled, she recorded it, and then she saved it. The judge's exact words: there wasn't any attempt to stop the child from touching her in the pubic area. The paperwork already knew.
Her private area. Now, that's according to court records. Not only did Miss P know that it was Cranmer, she says, because of some unique tattoos that Cranmer has on her body, but she also realized where this video was allegedly shot: the house of a woman who Cranmer babysat for. The victim's mom has been identified as Miss H in court records, and she said that she knew something was wrong. She didn't even know about the video at that point, but she noticed something was wrong because her son stopped liking the bath, and he was just acting differently after he spent time with Cranmer. Now, Cranmer allegedly bathed with the boy herself, according to court records. Now, the video in question is 14 seconds long, and it was allegedly taken on May 6th. This investigation started on May 20th. Then the arrest of Victoria Cranmer didn't happen until July 8th. Police say they discovered additional videos on her phone of her and the child, but it is unclear
and the charges
what
reflect
those
the
videos
severity
show.
of what
Cranmer was
authorities
arrested and
believe
charged with
happened: sexual assault on a child, endangering the welfare of a child, manufacturing child sexual abuse material, and possession of child sex abuse material. If convicted, Cranmer faces 5 to 10 years on the most serious counts and a lifetime on the sex offender registry. The victim's mother, identified only as Miss H, said she knew something was wrong before she even knew about the video. Her son had stopped liking the bath. He was acting differently.
Assault on a child, endangering the welfare of a child, manufacturing child sexual abuse material, and possession of child sex abuse material. Shockingly, at a previous court hearing, Cranmer's defense actually tried to downplay the video, and this is a quote that reportedly came out of that hearing, and you can see why it was such a controversial thing for a lawyer to say. Quote, anyone who has spent time caring for young children understands that children often have little appreciation for personal space or privacy. Young children routinely follow parents or caregivers into bathrooms, touch things, ask questions, are curious, and fail to recognize ordinary social boundaries. That was a public defender telling the court. She also reportedly said this about her client allegedly recording the incident. Quote, children often engage in funny, spontaneous, or strange behavior that adults record because the moment's memorable or humorous.
Now here's the part that turns this from a crime story into a legal thriller. At a brief court hearing this week, a prosecutor told the judge that the state anticipates extending a pre-indictment offer. In plain English, they're talking about a plea deal. And the question that changes everything is this: what happens when the system has a video it can show a jury, but it might not want to?
Says. Now, there are a lot of people criticizing those statements because it really sounds like she's victim blaming for what happened. Now, we haven't seen this video. We don't know if it's been blown out of proportion, but it's hard to imagine, at least the contents of it, that it would be blown out of proportion, right? Well, the judge had this to say. The judge called it bizarre. Not bizarre because the child went with Cranmer into the bathroom. The judge said it was bizarre because Cranmer allegedly did nothing to stop the toddler from touching her private area. And she reportedly laughed, she giggled, and recorded this video, then saved it. The judge said this, quote, I find it to be troubling. There wasn't
because here's the uncomfortable reality. A former sex crimes prosecutor, now a defense attorney, explained it this way: the state has to prove the conduct was sexual in nature. And with a toddler as the alleged victim, you can't ask the child what they were thinking or feeling. So the prosecutor has to weigh the evidence, the video, the laughter, the tattoos that identified Cranmer, and ask, can we prove this beyond a reasonable doubt? Or is there a risk that a jury sees something ambiguous?
Cranmer. We know that she was very active on social media, and she wasn't afraid to lay out what she says, or at least what sounds like a pretty traumatic childhood. On TikTok, she wrote that her dad died on Christmas when she was 13. She then says she was taken away from her parents when she was 11, and she had to move 36 times as a kid, and she was in therapy by age 10. We're not bringing this up for, any sense of sympathy, but as we're trying to understand how someone gets in the situation she is, you have to look
the
at their
paperwork
past.
already knew,
Now, as far as
and the
any kind
paperwork
of
shows
criminal
Cranmer does
record,
not
we
have
did
an
find that
extensive
Cranmer
criminal
was once
history,
arrested for
a DUI
back
in 2023, a difficult childhood by her own account, posted on TikTok. Her father died on Christmas when she was 13. She was taken from her parents at 11, moved 36 times in therapy by age 10. That's not offered as sympathy. It's offered as context. The system has to decide, does this person get years in a box, or a deal that lets her out?
Back in 2023. This is body cam video of that incident, March of 2023.
I don't know what happened. I got hit at a traffic light. It was like a green light go, and then I don't know what happened. My mom is coming. I don't know.
All right, hey, is everything okay? Are you're not injured or anything? All right, it's okay. Just take a deep breath. It's all right.
I can't. I don't live away. I don't live around here. I live an hour away, and that's why I'm like.
We're not sure if that house vehicle on mass is involved.
Look, we don't have to tell your mom anything, all right? But here's the deal. You're going to be placed under arrest for driving while intoxicated, okay? I have to. All right, this is our job.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay? We're going to have to explain anything to your mom.
I can't.
The defense attorney has to have conversations with his client that most people will never imagine. Years in prison. The scarlet letter of being a registered sex offender for life. And he has to prepare for what happens on day one of a trial, when a prosecutor presses play on that 14-second video in front of a jury. There's no one seeing it. There's no one hearing the laughter. So the plea negotiation becomes a game of risk, of exposure, of what both sides can live with.
Okay? You all right? All right, do me a favor, just face this officer behind you. All right, can you just put both your hands on top of your head for me?
I can't. This is just a lot.
It's okay.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Can I just talk to you for a second?
Nope. No, I'll talk to you when we get there, all right? Don't worry.
Am I gonna be okay?
You're going home about an hour. Okay? Not to worry.
That's all I can.
Yeah, let me just... Like Officer Cass said, we know you're going through a lot. No, don't be sorry. We'll make sure that you're okay.
Victoria, do you have anything? You're gonna sit back here. Do you have anything in your pockets? It's just.
I just want to go. I just want my car to go.
Look.
Cranmer said she had
And
been
here's the
drinking at a
twist.
friend's funeral.
The
earlier
expert
that
said
day.
he wouldn't be
She then got
surprised
into a car
if,
accident,
in a
and that
case
is
with
when
credibly
police
disputed
were
legal
called. Now,
elements and a
obviously, that
defendant
case is
with limited
unrelated.
history,
And
the result is time served. She could get out quickly. She could be on probation. The sex offender registration might still be on the table, but the prison time, that could vanish, which means the woman who laughed while a toddler touched her could walk out of the courtroom in months, not years.
Unrelated and far less serious, frankly, than the charges that she's now facing. Here is Cranmer again in court this week. Let's get to the latest. Now, even though her hearing, it was brief, it does appear that prosecutors are potentially working with the defense on a plea deal.
Mr. Kane, have you had a chance to receive discovery?
Judge, I have not received any discovery yet.
No offer at this time, Judge. Certainly, I would ask that we bring this back for another EDC. The state does anticipate extending a pre-indictment offer in this matter, so if we could have maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and certainly I'll...
So we have to ask, is justice measured by what the law can prove or by what the video actually shows? The judge called it troubling. The defense called it blown out of proportion. The prosecutor is calling it a potential plea. And the victim's mother is left with a son who stopped liking the bath, and a system that might decide the case is too hard to take to trial. The paperwork already knew.
Cranmer will have to register as a sex offender for life, according to New Jersey law. She is also facing a stiff prison sentence possibility. The sex assault and manufacturing CSAM charges both carry 5 to 10 year prison terms. Her other charges, would carry up to 5-year prison terms. That's per the Asbury Park Press. Her next hearing is set for August 17th. Joining us now once again to talk about this case is criminal defense attorney Eric Faddis, who's also a former sex crimes prosecutor. The timing of this case, she was arrested, I believe it was either June or July, and then here we are in August, and she's already, it seems like, at least from this very brief court appearance, that there's conversations of a plea deal. What do you make of the timing of that?
Well, Chris, the wheels of justice turn rather slowly in most jurisdictions in America. So the fact that it's been a significant amount of time since she was charged is not surprising to me at all. This would really be the time frame
now,
within
here's the
which
question we
the
want you to
DA and the
answer.
defense attorney would probably
The
get
court
together
records
and
are public.
begin having
The Asbury
discussions
Park
about,
Press
hey,
has covered
is there
every
a
hearing.
way to resolve
read the
this
filings yourself.
that we all can live
Look
with?
at the
And I imagine
timeline.
those.
Look at the charges. Look at the judge's own words. And then ask yourself, what would justice look like in this case? Would you accept a plea deal? Or would you want that 14-second video played for a jury? Tell us in the comments.
Can live with. And I imagine those discussions are ongoing.
Does that necessarily mean that they're already talking about it? And I know in this last hearing, the judge was like, is there an offer? And the prosecution said no. Even the idea that it's even being mentioned, like, what could that mean for a time frame of when a deal goes in place? Like, what's that look like?
It'd be unusual, Chris, for a DA to state in open court, even that there might be a plea deal if no such plea deal was being considered. So what it tells me is that they're at least contemplating, hey, is there a way to resolve this short of trial? And if so, what could that look like? And so usually that's, starts with phone calls between the defense attorney and the DA. You talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the case. You talk about
if this
what
story
justice
made you
requires,
think,
both
if
for
it
the
made you
public
question
and
what
for
the
the
system
accused.
is willing
And
to
so,
trade away,
that is kind
then
of
hit
a
like,
hard path to
share
navigate
this
at times,
video with
especially
someone who
in a
needs
case
to
with
see it,
allegations like
and
these.
subscribe to True Crime Court. Turn on notifications, because we don't just follow the headlines, we follow the evidence. We'll see you in the next case.